I have decided to make my very first YouTube video about abortion. Let's see how this goes. The Supreme Court recently, 2 months ago, decided to let Texas's abortion ban proceed, preventing millions of abortions from taking place. As everyone gets pissed off at each other on social media, I figured, why not make some people pissed off at me? In order to accomplish this, I'm going to discuss an issue at the core of the debate. When is a fetus alive? According to Roe v. Wade, the answer is 23 weeks, because it is at this point that a fetus is considered viable, meaning it could conceivably live outside of the womb. According to Texas, the answer is 6 weeks, because it is at this point that something that could be construed as a heartbeat begins. To me, this debate has always just muddied the waters. According to the moral theory that most people claim to defend, it actually does not matter when the fetus is alive. Now, you may say that that's stupid, that of course it matters when the fetus is alive, and that's reasonable. In order for me to explain, we must first ask a more fundamental question. Why is murder bad? There are two main schools of thought here. First, that murder is bad just because it's inherently bad, deontology, or that murder is bad because it has bad consequences, consequentialism. When pressed, most people end up defending a form of consequentialism. You are probably familiar with this idea via the trolley problem. It goes like this. If a train is about to run over 5 people, but you could pull a lever to reroute it onto a track containing only 1, would you do it? While this may be a hard question to answer, studies show that 90% of us say that we would reroute the train and save the 5 by killing 1. Even though pulling the lever is technically murder, its result is less death. Similarly, most of us would applaud someone who killed Hitler because in doing so, they prevented mass suffering and genocide. However, most murder is bad. But why? What are the negative consequences of murder? Well, there is a lot of suffering that goes along with murder, but it's not as though we let someone off the hook if they silently and painlessly kill someone in their sleep. What makes that murder bad is that it deprives that person of future experience. They will never wake up, which means they'll never experience the joy of mindlessly scrolling through YouTube or poking each other on Facebook, or what do we do to enjoy our lives? Now, do we enjoy that's not what this video is about. Anyway, that's where we come full circle. The question should not be whether abortion is murder, but rather, what are the negative consequences of abortion? And in this context, the consequences of abortion might be even worse than the consequences of murder. If you were to murder, say, a 40-year-old, then they would only have, on average, 39 years left of experience that you are depriving them of. However, a fetus still has their full 79 years. If you were not to abort, then the fetus would have, in all likelihood, been taken to term, birthed, and then lived a full life. So, abortion is bad. End of story, right? No. What I have said so far is a vast oversimplification. For a start, this analysis would make contraceptives just as bad as murder. If you were not to wear the condom, then your sperm could fertilize the egg, and then that fetus could be taken to term and live a full 79 years of experience. Again, we are analyzing this exclusively under a consequentialist framework, so it does not matter whether the baby is currently alive or even currently existing. Second, a logical consequence here is that we should all be making babies as fast as possible. If the end goal is just to increase the amount of possible future experience for hypothetical babies, then shouldn't we all just fuck? Now, I'm not going to claim to be a demographer, but I assume that as many babies as possible is not a tenable goal for a stable population. And this may be fairly pseudoscientific, but when I drive around, I tend to see a lot of people, and I kind of have this intuitive feeling that there should just be fewer of them. Finally, we also need to figure out what the effect would be on the quality of life of the mother and other members of the family if they were to have the baby. Most abortions are actually had by women who already have a kid. However, most are struggling to support that kid that they currently have. Introducing a new member of the family would likely cause so much financial strain that it would significantly decrease the quality of life of not only the mother and father, but also the kids that already exist and the kid that's being brought into existence. It might be a better overall goal for us to focus more on increasing the quality of life of humans that already exist on this planet.
And I'm outside. I recorded that video about 2 weeks ago, and since then I got a haircut and a fucking war started, so I figured, why not a little change of scenery for the outro? So after watching that, you might be wondering, so is abortion bad? And honestly, I don't know. Some abortions are probably bad, and some are probably pretty good. The point of the video is that whether or not any abortion is murder doesn't determine whether or not it's good. Morality is a bit more complicated than that. Murder is just a category, and categories don't determine morality. Consequences do. Now, that shift might make the debate a bit more complicated, but I think it would also make it a lot more productive. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching the whole video. I really do appreciate it. If you disagree, you have any questions, you have something to add, or you just want to make fun of me, leave it in the comments below. I'm kind of like a prisoner in solitary confinement at this point. Any interaction is good interaction. Plus, I don't imagine this video is going to be getting a whole lot of views, so the odds are that if you comment, I'm going to reply to you. I am very bored. I think that's it. Anywho, have fun watching other YouTube videos. Don't waste away your life.